All right, we are live. So what's happening is in my recordings, uh, my face is blocking the drawings, and some of the feedback that students give me from the videos is, Mr. We can't really see because that camera over to the right is blocking the screen. So what I'm gonna do is minimize it so that it disappears, and I'll move the lips over to the left more so you guys can do that. Let me just go like this. Okay. So first things first, we need our reference picture. I can't just draw this from the top of my head. I need my reference picture. So let's put the reference picture here. All right, and we're doing the bottom one. So the first thing we do is get rid of all the white of the paper. The white of the paper is just gonna confuse us, and it just makes shading a lot harder. So I did that in the first recording with the morning class. We're gonna repeat that for lip number 2. So I'm just using the side of my pencil, and I'm just giving this a light coat. I'm just gonna do this. So we just wanna give it a soft gray. And I'm gonna come back through with napkins or tissue paper or whatever you have. You can use your finger if you wanted to. But I'm gonna use this because this morning I have rubbed my fingers raw, so they hurt. So I'm just gonna blend that out so it looks smooth. Right, we want it to look soft. So this is just for the texture. Get that texture to look nice and soft. And then inside the lip as well, I'll give it a light coat. It's going to become darker, don't worry. You can pause the video recording later on when you're watching this. At that time, you can pause it, get caught up. Once you have this, I'll move on to the next step. Okay. I know some of you are still blending and getting the graphite on there. So the next step is identifying the different shadings in the lip. So what number would we use for the lips? Let's not focus on the teeth. If I move this over, are we gonna go with 6, 7, or 8, right? So 8 is like super dark. We might not want to go super dark. I think the 7 and the 6 is a great idea. Do we have any areas where we might go a little lighter than that? Like really look at it and analyze it. Yes. So in-person students are telling me that maybe on the top, we'll definitely use a lighter shade. And the top here will have a lighter shade. But the bottom here will be the 6 or the 7. Right here, along here will be 6 or 7. So I don't want to draw the numbers on my paper because then I won't be able to erase it. But in the chat as well, students are saying, well, let me clear that up. Students are saying like this is like a number 6. Down here would be a 6. And then up here would be more of like 4s there. And right up here would be more of a 4. All right. What about the area here and here? If you look at the reference picture, it's so dark, we don't see the rest of the teeth. I would say it would also be a 6. So I would bring the 6s in there as well, like that. Okay, so the numbers are there for you. Take a moment, process that, let that marinate in your mind. Look at your own value scale. I can't move my paper because if I do, the numbers will stay. And then now it's like on the eye. So I don't really want to do it. But you guys have this. So you can look on yours and you'll know exactly how hard to press. All right. So I'm going to clear the numbers. I just wrote them on there for the sake of demonstration purposes because I know some students are going to watch this later. All right, so definitely going to use this pencil for getting the shading on there. And again, number 6, right? Number 6 right here. Number 6. Don't worry about details. We are just getting the tones. We'll go through and draw all those lines and cracks in the lips. But right now, we just want to go simple and ignore the details. We just want to get that tone. I know there's lines in there. I'm aware of it, but if I start drawing the lines, then I don't focus on the shading. And then after I draw the lines and I try to shade it, it covers up my lines anyways. So it's smarter to work this way, where you get the shading first, then you go back in and draw the lines. So we'll come back, I promise. It looks weird at first, and you feel like you're messing it up. But just like in the first recording that I told my first periods this morning, silence that voice, okay? You're not messing it up. This is exactly the process of how to do this every time. So you're doing it right. You're not messing it up. You can draw, you can do this, okay? We're just scribbling tones on there. Okay. I don't want to go any darker than that because I'm starting to approach like number 7. So it's getting a little too dark. This will get lighter when I come back through and I use my finger to blend it out. It'll get lighter. So down here, I'm just going to map out with a simple line. The shading comes here and then it goes over there like this. And then this side goes this way. All right. So just color that in. And color that. There we go. And then we're going to come through with our number 4s, right? So the number 4s are here. And I got to make sure I'm going just a little softer and not so hard. It's going to be a little rough, but I'll come back through and I'll blend it. So it looks rough right now, but I'll come back through and blend it. And then the top here is number 4. All right. So shading is actually really, really easy. You just get the tones in there. Get all the tones. It looks very, very flat. But we'll come back through and add the details and then it'll round out. So what I want to do now is come back through, either use your fingers or a paper towel of some sort, and you want to blend this in. So I just want to come through and smooth out my textures. And I just want to blend some of that in. Here and there where you need it, okay? Just want to smooth that out, blend that in. Smooth this side out. Blend it in right there. Smooth this out. Blend that in. And if it gets a little too dark, you can always come back in and pull some of that off. So this is getting a little too dark. I just want to pull some of that back off. And then I just reblend it. Just reblend it back in. So don't worry if you go too dark. You can always erase and fix it. So once again, I'll model that. And then you can just come back through and with really light pressure, because there's a lot of graphite on here, just really light pressure, just blend that back in. Like so. Okay. Now, you can come back in and use a sharp pencil. We want a fine tip. So if you have a mechanical pencil, this is the time. We're going to come back through and we're going to draw the lines in to add texture. I'm not going to count every single line. We just want to mimic and recreate the textures of the lips. So we're just drawing lines. And we're trying to create that realism effect. So the lips are going to look like they have stripes. So I'll do a little bit here for you to see. And then there's some going this way. And it curves out that way. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that. Underneath here is a little lighter because there's some reflected light. So I'm just going to remove a little bit. There we go. Just to remove a little bit. And I'm going to bring these lines back. And that just adds that extra realism. Okay. What you do to this side, you got to do to the other side. So same thing again. Just want to draw a few lines. Okay. So let me use a red pen here to highlight. So the lines are curving this way, right? The contour lines are going that way, just like the eyelashes. And then on this side, they're going to go that way. And you can guess that on the bottom, it's going to go that way. So I just want to put that in there for the video's reference in case some students are wondering, you know, how did he draw the lines, or how did he do that? How does he know what he's doing? I'm just following the contour because our lips are not flat. They are round. So to create that illusion of a round lip, we're just going round with this. You're just curving and you're doing concave. And then we'll do convex. Like so. Okay. So there it is. It looks weird because we don't have our teeth shaded in yet. So please don't look at the teeth. If you look at the teeth, then you're like, Mr. Hurry, your lips look awful. But just cover that up. And you can see the top of the lip looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm just covering that up. All right, so the lips look good. We'll do the teeth. I want to wait and come back later to do it because if I do the teeth now, I'm going to lose you and I don't want to jump around. So on the bottom, we're going to do the same thing. And the lines will start to curve this way. We have lines going that way. Okay, I just did half. I want to stop right here and get your attention, and I'll show you a cool trick that I did not show for the top one. Okay, so the top one in the video, I actually drew out these little white blobs and I did not allow myself to shade into them. On the bottom, this is another way to do it. You can use the ridge of your eraser right here. Well, can't really see that on camera, but use the ridge of your eraser and you can use that as a drawing tool. So instead of drawing dark lines, I'm going to draw white lines. So I'm removing, okay? When I use the tip of my pencil, I'm adding pencil marks. This time I'm going to remove pencil marks. So I'm just going to use this to add some white lines like there. I'm going to have some white lines here. Okay, so that adds that realistic texture, and I'll go back through and shade in some areas to give it that curve. Okay, so that adds some realism to it. So I just wanted to show you that trick so that you have that in your skill toolbox for drawing. So always remember in art, I can't speak for any other subject, but for art, you can use your eraser as a drawing tool as well. You don't always have to add to it. You can remove. And I'll come through with the blender and blend some of these in. And with my eraser again, maybe I'll just remove some areas. And we just want to break some of these areas in. And then with my blender, I'll just tighten that back up like so. Okay, I'm gonna come through and do the teeth. So in here, we most definitely have some darker tones in here. So in here, I am just gonna come back through and get my darker tones in there because we don't really see behind. It's so dark that the shadows cover it up. So I'm just gonna press a little harder. This side as well. Pressing a little harder. And then as I come inside, I'm going to ease off the pressure. And there's more shadow here, so I'm just going to add that in. Like so. The teeth below are barely there, so I'm not even going to add shading. I'm just going to push what I have around here, and I'm just going to push some of the graphite around and push that in there, like so. But you do see this dark line to outline the teeth below. Okay, the top of the teeth, just like the bottom, I already have enough graphite all over the place. I don't need to add any more, so I'm just going to pull. I'm just going to pull from what I have up here. I'm just going to bring that down. And then as I get lower and lower, I'm going to ease off the pressure, and it's going to get lighter and lighter. Like that. Okay, so I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. Same thing for this side. I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. All right. And then with my lead pencil here, I'm just going to go back through and darken in my lines so that the teeth, the contours of the teeth show up clear. Okay. To make this lip look like it's not floating, because it just looks like a lip that's floating on my paper, we need to have the shadows around the lip. You can see in the picture over to the left, if you look at the reference photo, there's shadows all over this area. There's shadows here, there's shadows here, and there's shadows up here. And that's what makes the lip look like it's on a face. So I'm just going to come through, and I know there's like a darker shadow underneath here. And we just want to kind of get some of that in there. So press some of that. There it is. There's a little bit of shadow over here. So I just want to kind of map that out. There's more of a shadow up here. And there's a shadow over here. So I'm just going to number 3. If you're wondering, question in the chat was, what number is that? That's number 3. There's a bit of a shadow here. And a little bit there. The whitest part, or the lightest part of the skin, is right here. Right there. So imagine there's an invisible line, like right here. and right here. So you want to kind of stop the shadows at that point. You don't want to go past that. Okay. Now, once you have those scribbles in there, I know they look ugly and it looks rough, but watch what happens when I come through and I blend them out. And I'm not going to press hard. If you press too hard, you're moving too much of the graphite and it's going to get light. I don't want it to get any lighter. I want it to stay kind of dark. So I'm just going to use light pressure and I just want to smooth that out like so. Don't want it to get too light. Same thing for over here as well. You just want to smooth that out so it looks like skin, okay? It was a little rough the way that I added the pencil on there, but that's because I already knew that I was going to blend it out. So, and then this side here, I'll just go up and down to blend that out. And we'll come all the way here. And then for sure on this side, I'll switch up my tools and I'll come here. It's a little bit there. And over here, I will also go up and down. You can see now the lip doesn't look like it's floating. The last part to blend out is right here on the bottom. I just need to come through and blend this out. And there we have it. This gap right here underneath creates that glow of the lip. So I kind of just left that. If it's too white, you can just come back through and add a little bit of shading in there. And then it looks a little fuzzy. So I'm just going to come back through with my mechanical pencil and clean that up to make the edge hard. So sometimes you want a soft edge. Sometimes you want a hard edge. Just come back there and clean that up. And there it is. I'll zoom out and you'll see that tonight you should have all 4 of these drawn. And then for Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, we will do noses and we will do ears. So I'll have 2 noses for you, and I'll also send out 2 ears. And again, I will make video recordings of those as well so that you have them if you need them for your references. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. This is part 2 of the lips. If you need part 1, refer back to that video. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, like.